What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what's moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So I was actually planning on a side note to do a GM video today, but given the recent price action and how much Lucid is truly getting hit, I wanted to kind of pop on and explain kind of what that does truly mean. So when it comes to Lucid, it is down 6.4%, 1843 the low, 1981 the high. But we are still seeing low volume. So 4.7 million shares being traded, 8.6 is the average. So as this goes down, my puts that I did sell are just kind of getting obliterated, unfortunately. Same with if you did buy any calls. I think today's price action is going to really reset a lot of that. But when it comes to Lucid, there hasn't been any news. Nor any SEC filings whatsoever from the company. Even on social media, all they seem to be doing lately is just reposting. And that's just that big kind of announcement, that collaboration that was announced on the 20th. So they've just been reposting a lot of articles, which I don't really like a lot of the articles that have been coming out. Like for instance, even here, Lucid enlists big name stars to hype its new luxury electric SUV. I don't like the word hype, because kind of to me it seems as artificial. So these individuals along with Timothy are meant to really push gravity. And so this is where I always like to play devil's advocate. And I think this is why a lot of people hopefully like to watch my channel, is because I don't BS. Like if I see something that's kind of questionable, I bring it up. So you have Timothy, and keep in mind, Peter said that the gravity is going to sell itself. He used that wording way back in 2023 before they kind of pushed it back a little bit. But gravity, based on the demand and everything, is supposed to sell itself. But now you have Marc coming in play, and you have him bringing on Timothy, which I don't believe it's been disclosed how much Timothy has actually been paid to really promote the gravity. But I can guarantee it's definitely up there. And so you have him really pushing the gravity. That's his whole purpose that started in September. Now you have these two individuals. Again, I don't see any videos or anything along those lines, just a lot of photo ops. And I don't see that selling a gravity whatsoever. So I feel like Lucid is just, I'll say this again, time and time again, their product is amazing, but management just has no idea what they are effing doing. They are all over the place, and the more that they do, the more shows that they have no clue who their true target audience is. Again, that might be unpopular opinion, it might just be me, but there has been no catalyst. And this is something that some people didn't really like about me back in 2023, is I just said, hey, you know what, like a lot of their recent Air variations being launched weren't a success. And so we kind of are stuck, right? Because right now the gravity has been put out. The next big catalyst is the midsize, and that's not coming out till late 2026. And so when it comes to short-term catalysts, there really isn't all that much. And so I think in general, that is why some institutions are just completely overlooking Lucid lately, is because there's no real reason to buy them. So I think it's just a very difficult type of thing. And I think ultimately today is very telling on what the Wall Street truly does see of Lucid, because you see some good credible names, they're down about 2-3%. Anything very speculative is down 6+%. So the fact that Lucid is having the price action it is, it's very telling what Wall Street thinks of it. And I get it. The whole market is just crap today. It's absolutely horrific. And a lot of that is just because of Netflix's earnings. So a lot of people are kind of freaking out over that. But still, Lucid could really help by putting out some good actual catalysts. And not only that, when they say something, just follow through with it. So if you're gonna say blah 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 on an interview, you need to really follow through with it. So I think Lucid definitely does have its work cut out for it. When it comes down to shorts, at the time of doing this video, they are increasing 782,000 shares. 31.7% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 40.2 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow average is dropping, so that is sitting at 11.45, and usually that does happen because there is a lot more kind of supply. And so all of this, for the most part, is just supply and demand. So now that there is more available shares out there, cost to borrow drops. So again, that's what happens. DTC sitting at 4.05 days. That does really signal that shorts are very overextended. But to be fully honest, nothing really has changed. Even if I move this to 12 months, like you see DTC being anywhere from about 2 to 6 days. None of that has really mattered whatsoever. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. So it looks like shorts in the like right now are starting to get a little bit more confident. They're starting to really double down and increase. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what does play out. A lot of expectations for their upcoming earnings. On a side note, at 4 o'clock pretty much does coincide with Tesla's earnings. That is where retail will be able to pose questions to management. So if there's some crazy kind of questions out there, I'll do a video just going over some of that, but I think my expectations for all of that is very, very low. Looking at the options, 922,000 in calls, 847,000 in puts. Very low volume. 47% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. So despite Lucid kind of hitting the lows, looks like more downside is still anticipated. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be kind of around that 1950, and then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub, looks like 18 to 1750. So more downside is still anticipated. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So somewhat evenly divided. So half buying, half selling. So based on all this, a lot of the volume being done today is linked to algorithmic trading as well as shorts. These are some of the transactions occurring on the dark pool. So big one for today is 1.2 million. Aside from that, not really much else is happening on kind of that exchange. So that is relatively quiet, but given what shorts are doing, it is fair to assume that most of this is linked to shorts for that. With it right now at 1843, it is currently trading between these 2 points, so this pivot and this S1. So 1765 is going to be that next strong support, and then 2119 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And this is something I've mentioned time and time again over last several videos, is that Lucid is breaking down. There's not really much willing buyers, so potentially it might bounce off this S1, and this is why we can see from this market position just not really much willing buyers. And so today you see a lot more willing sellers, and it looks like it escalated as well around that $20 range, so that's going to be another key element. But as far as in the short term, you could see some consolidation to almost even at 1650. So it is below that 50-day moving average. So I think now history is kind of playing out, because historically it does usually result in like a 20 to 30% move in either direction. So as of, it looks like on the 16th, it did break below and stayed below that 50-day moving average. So I think things are getting a little bit kind of worse for wear, unfortunately. And there hasn't been all that much in analyst ratings. No articles really coming out associated to Lucid. So I think when it comes down to their upcoming earnings, they really need to hit a massive, massive home run if they're going to see any sort of recovery. And this is something that I do feel that we're kind of stuck in limbo, because I've stated like pretty much at the beginning of this year that most likely it was going to be tail end of Q3, or if not beginning of Q4, that is where they would be diluting. So I do feel they might actually be doing it in the next little bit. Logically, I think Lucid's been more self-aware of when and how they are doing things. So timing wise, I think they might actually do it right after their Q3 earnings. So we'll just have to wait and see how it does all play out. But in my opinion, I think Lucid really needs to get their act together. If not, we will be seeing a retest most likely of that kind of $15 range. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Are you buying the dip? Are you selling? What is your general thoughts with Lucid? And no different than what I mentioned in my video yesterday, there seems to be some orchestrated type of pump. A lot of accounts out there on social media are trying to pump up Lucid, which is rather odd. And in my opinion, I think that has to do with a marketing firm. So maybe Lucid has reached out to try to draw some attention to it. But I personally would really want, out of any of all of this, whoever advised like Lucid needs to do a reverse stock split to get institutions to buy it, they need to be fired. Whether that be Marc or someone else, but I think some heads do need to roll very, very soon. If not, Lucid is going to be in a lot more pain. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. I know these types of videos aren't the greatest, because I know if you have a long-term position and all that, it is what it is. But yeah, I think just generally management needs to really get off their ass and like do something ASAP, because Lucid is bleeding. So let me know your thoughts. One final thing though, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.